everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a video that's a little bit different from my usual kind of videos. Today's video is actually going to be on things that no one really tells you when you move out, and these are just a list of things that I have found since I've moved out. You know, things that no one tells you but you kind of know in the back of your head, but you don't really think about it until it comes up and you're like, oh no, this is coming up. So this is kind of just my advice on when you're moving out, because a few of you may know that I moved out for the first time in February, I think it was this year, February. Been in here for a couple of months and I love it. I love living out of home. It's so nice. That independence, you can like, yeah, it's my space, my room, you know, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I've just kind of written a list of the things that I've noticed or found out, or just my advice pretty much. And so I've got my list here, so if I'm looking down, you know why. And I'm also just going to start straightening my hair because I think I'm going to go out later. I'm going to chat to you while doing my hair as well. So yeah, a few of you know that I did move out, and I moved out with my oldest brother, and it's great. I really love it because he works at night time, I work at daytime, so we never actually see each other apart from maybe once or twice a week, which works out really well. But in doing that, it does feel like I have moved out alone. You know, I come home, no one's here, I wake up, no one's there, and going from a household of like 7 people, it's a complete change. So it does get a little lonely when you start to move out, especially if you move out by yourself or with someone who works different times as you, so you do feel like you're just by yourself. Being by yourself has its good points. You know, you've got your time, you can actually grow as a person, have everything exactly how you like it. You don't have to be like, oh, you know, what kind of show do you want to watch? You know, you can watch whatever you want, you can do whatever you want pretty much, you can wear whatever you want, which you should be doing anyway. It does get a bit annoying when there's a spider or something and you have to learn how to kill it. I think a good thing to do when you do move out, and if you are getting a bit lonely, is definitely just talk to people, just text people. Like I text my mum so often, we text at least every day, and I text my little sister, I text my friends all the time. You know, I'm always chatting to people, so it's not too bad. If you do find you're getting very lonely and it's upsetting you, you can see if you can have a pet, like a cat maybe, or a little dog, depending on like where you live and what your lease says. I know where I live here, I'm not allowed animals, but I was cat sitting for a couple of days the other week. I put a photo on Instagram. Oh, Dr. Pepper, he was beautiful. He was my baby. Something so you feel like you're not completely alone if it's really getting to you. Another thing is when you move out, and I know this one's really obvious, but it does cost money. So you've got to pay your rent every week or fortnight, or however you've got it set up. Yes, on where you live the prices vary, but it can go from easily 80 to 200 a week, and you're like, what, all my money's disappearing. But not only that, not only do you have to pay rent, but you've also got to save money for water, electricity, internet connection fees, your phone bill and stuff like that. I do every week once I get paid is I set my rent aside, and I set at least $50 aside as well. And so over the month, that $50 will be like about $200 at the end of the month, and then that will cover whatever bill that comes that month, whether it be the water bill or internet or electricity. And I think usually most of them come kind of every 2 to 3 months, so it's not all in one month. So I might have $400 set aside just for bills from the $50 a week, but then all of a sudden, you know, internet's $100, water bill comes, and it's, I think my water bill was only $18 though, so that one's not too bad. But you know, electricity will come and that'll be like maybe 100 and something as well. And then I've also got to pay the connection fee for the internet. I think that was more expensive than what I pay for the internet, which is ridiculous. So if you just set, you know, $25 to $50 aside a week, it should cover any bills. And then once you've paid those bills, and don't be like, oh my gosh, I got like $100 left, let me spend it. Maybe just take that 100 and set it aside for, you know, if any surprise bill comes, like, oh, did I tell you about this? You've got to pay this as well, you know. Always keep just a little bit of money set aside for bills, because you don't want to get behind them. You don't want to be yourself a bad name with the real estate and everything like that. And with phone bills, well, I just use my mobile phone. Like, I don't have a home phone here. My mobile's pretty much everything. So I'm used to paying my phone bill off weekly, so I do that as well, and I set that money aside. But not only do you have to pay all those bills, but you also have to pay for food, which again is pretty obvious that, you know, food's not going to grow on trees. Well, actually that's not true, it does grow on trees. You might be used to going from a house where there's always food and there's always snacks and you're like, yay, and then you have to buy them. So it's a huge difference, and your first shop when you go shopping for groceries is always going to be your most expensive, because that's the one where you're going to buy, you know, your salt, your pepper, your sauces, you know, flour if you want to be baking stuff, coffee, sugar, you know, all those kind of staple items that you kind of have in your cupboard all the time. They last months. I have found with my weekly grocery shop is I will go and try and write a list of what I want to eat that week. So I shop every Monday pretty much, or Tuesday. It's Tuesday now and I've got nothing left. So I will kind of write down 7 dinners. So I'll do maybe pasta one night, and then any leftover I'll bring for lunch, and then the next night I'll do nachos or something, and then, you know, any leftover I bring for lunch, or like I make a quick sandwich or something for lunch. Maybe I'll do a veggie burger the next night with like a side of chips or a wrap or something like that. You just set aside kind of 7 meals, but what I find is if I use the same kind of ingredients for each of those meals, it works out a lot cheaper. So instead of buying like $20 for one meal in one go, I'll buy like maybe 3 tomatoes, a pack of veggie patties, and I like these ones, they're $4 and you get 4 in them, mushrooms, cucumber and egg. And so for my pasta, I'll do like pesto pasta, but then I'll have like fried mushrooms, I'll have diced tomato, I'll have a bit of cucumber in there, maybe some spinach, and mix it all together and have veggie patty with it or something. But then for the next meal, like if it was veggie burger, then I still have, you know, veggie patties I can use. I can still use tomato, can do a fried egg on it. So if you use similar kind of ingredients, that's a lot cheaper than going and grabbing like 50 ingredients for one thing and then like completely different stuff, and then there's going to be a lot of waste. So if you just use whatever you have and just keep it like that, it's a lot cheaper. Learn to love leftovers. I've always loved leftovers. I love leftover pizza, I love leftover pasta and stuff like that. And by taking it to work, it saves me from going out and buying food, because you might think, oh, it's only $5 to buy, you know, a thing of chips or something, but then $5 over the course of the week could be like $35. So just try to maybe pack your lunch and use leftovers, or get up early and maybe make like a sandwich or something to bring with you, or a wrap. Maybe once a week make your Friday or your Saturday or your Thursday or whatever your treat day, and, you know, maybe buy your lunch on that day. Speaking of food, another thing that you're going to notice is when you eat at home, you're going to need something to cook with, to eat off, and to eat with. What I did when I first moved out is, before I moved out, about a month before, I started to buy household things. So it wouldn't just be like one hectic shop in one go. So I started to buy like pots and pans and cutlery and stuff like that. Tea towels, glasses to drink out of and everything. And you can get them really cheap. I got 3 pots to cook like pasta, rice, those kind of pots. I got them from Target, and 3 of them for $10. They were in a pack. Then I got my cutlery, I think from Kmart. It was a huge thing of cutlery. I think it was a 50 set, and that was about $8. I got 4 glasses for $4 from Target or Kmart. They're both really cheap. It's fantastic. Then I've got, you know, my more expensive stuff. Like I've got my good china set that I got for my 21st birthday that I've also got as well to use if I'm making something that looks a little fancier than a veggie burger. But you can get cheap alternatives to everything. Not everything. Don't panic and think everything's going to be like $50 a piece. Like, no, you can get really cheap alternatives. Just make sure you've got stuff to clean it with, like dishwashing liquid, sponge, or if you use a dishwasher, make sure you've got the little tablet things. Oh, I think my hair's all done now. Always going to be a cheap alternative to everything, so don't panic and think that you can't afford it. You know, you might have one style that you want to go for, but at the moment, it might be cheaper to just get the plain simple stuff, and then further on when you're getting used to, you know, budgeting and everything like that, you can go ahead and buy expensive stuff that's maybe your style, or you can leave out the cheap stuff. Just like going back to the food thing, never shop when you're hungry, because you can go from spending $25 a week to spending $58 a week, which is what I did last week. So never go shopping when you're hungry. Also, when you're going grocery shopping, if you find that you really like a particular pasta sauce or anything in particular, and it's usually like $4 or something, and then you go one week and it's like $2, maybe stock up. Instead of spending $4 one week, I'll spend $6 one week and buy 3 of them. You can save a bit, but you still have it in the cupboard or the fridge ready for whenever you need it. Another thing is there's no bedtime when you move out. You know, maybe some people don't have bedtimes to start with, but there is no set time to go to bed. Which is a lot of responsibility, because you can get carried away and be on the internet or be reading a book or something or watching a movie, and it'll be like 2 a.m. and you're like, I've got work the next day, why did no one tell me the time? So it is a lot of responsibility. And so there are a lot of responsibilities when moving out. Also cleaning. I'm not really an overly messy person, but I'm not like a neat freak. Like everything's like disorganizedly organized. Just like sweeping through the house, mopping the floor, that kind of stuff you got to remember to do, because if you don't kind of sweep and mop at least once a week, it does get really grimy and kind of gross. So it's just good to keep on top of that kind of stuff. So another thing, neighbors. Just be considerate, you know, if you're playing loud music at night, you know, your neighbors might have a 3-year-old kid or something like that, you know, just be considerate, and don't really do anything that you wouldn't want your neighbors to do to you. So kind of keep the music down past a certain time, that kind of stuff. Trash day. Don't miss trash day. Figure out which day is trash day. I think ours is Thursday? Wednesday? One of those days. Make sure you don't miss trash day. If you miss trash day, you'll be surprised at how much garbage you can accumulate in a week, and then it smells and it's revolting. And I don't actually do the garbage. My brother does that, and I'm trying to talk low because he's downstairs. Furniture and stuff like that, op shops will become your friend. That sounds really gross. I know some people are like, ew, op shops, why would you buy furniture from there? But you can get like, you know, wooden chairs that are really good condition, you know, for your table. You can get like a dinner table from the op shop. You know, if you don't want to go out and spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars, if you're on a budget, it's really good. You can get a dining table. You can get some really nice pieces from op shops. So when you go to bed at night, or when you're leaving for work or whatever, make sure you lock up. Always lock up. Don't want anything to happen. You might think you live in a really safe neighborhood. You just don't risk it. Just make sure you always lock every door, everything like that. Make sure it's locked up. The amounts of times I have run down from my room to the front door when I've heard it open with like a hairbrush or something in my hand, whatever I could grab quickly, and it's just my brother coming in, is ridiculous, because I'm like, oh, I forgot to lock, and then you hear the door open and you panic. Make sure you do that. It's like locking your car. You always want to lock your car and everything like that. Just keep it safe. Just don't risk it. It's just not, don't do it. I found I really like is when I go and visit my mum, or go back home and visit my family. They always have so much food, and you'll just like sit there and talking, you're eating dinner, and you're like, yes, free meal, don't have to pay for that one. I know some houses, when you move in, they may or may not have a washing machine. Some of them do, so there are a lot of houses that won't. So this house doesn't have a washing machine in it, and I have no intention of buying one. Last time I looked at washing machines, it was about $500. I'm like, yeah, I can think of better things to spend that on, and they were just the cheap ones. What I do is I just go visit my family, I do my washing, chat to them, and then I'll take it all to the laundromat. I'll put it through the dryer, because they're really like intense dryers, like it takes 8 minutes for them to dry. I do my washing, and I'll do that once a week. It saves me buying like a $400 washing machine, and next time I move house, you know, I might have roommates and they already might have a washing machine or something like that. So it'll be something that if I was in a permanent place, I would buy, but because I don't know where I'm going to be next time I move or who I'm going to move in with, it's not really an essential for me. It's like fridges, the same with that. If you move in with roommates, they usually already have a fridge, or someone will have a fridge. If you want to keep it, you'll have to pay for storage, otherwise you'll have to get rid of it or sell it or something. For me, Ben already had a fridge, and Ben actually had a lot of furniture, my older brother, when we moved, so I didn't really have to buy much furniture at all, just for my room, and that's just basically my bed. You do find that you are getting very lonely, or you come home and you're really bored all the time, it's good to kind of pick up a hobby, because there's not really anyone to talk to unless you have roommates or something. But if you find there's no one to talk to and you're just getting bored, it's good to pick up a new hobby. For me, I've joined the gym, and oh yeah, like there's a muscle forming. It's not quite there, but it's forming. It's getting there. And I love that because I can just go from work, gym, come home, cook, eat, watch a movie and go to bed. Like there's no kind of awkward sitting there and being like, oh, lonely. Like there's none of that, because I like to keep myself busy and I do it that way. Saying all these things, moving out of home is a very exciting time. It is a lot of fun. It's so much fun decorating your house how you like it, having everything exactly the way you like, having that independence and being able to be like, yes, I can do what I like, and having that bit of responsibility. It is a lot of fun. It is so much fun. And let me know your stories of when you first moved out, or if you were planning to move out. Let me know down below as well. Just the things that I have found that have helped me, or that I've learnt. Most of it is kind of, you know it, but you don't really think it because there's so much going on, I guess. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget, it's just so much fun, and embrace this time in your life. Yeah, so I hope this video was entertaining. Sorry I haven't uploaded many very often. I was really sick for a couple of weeks. I'm better now, and so I'm trying to get back onto the filming thing. So yeah, let me know what kind of video you like to see next as well. Would you prefer a more advice kind of video, or do you guys prefer tutorials? Let me know. Get to follow me on Instagram and everything. All my links are below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!